Assalamu alaikum Kobi, this is Whitek from Metalholic and Metalvani. How are you doing?
I'm very good, brother. Alaikum salam. Good to be here and to talk to you.
Thank you so much Kobi. Well, let's talk about your new album All Is One, which will be releasing on June 25th. Now, you guys had used Philharmonic Orchestra of Nazareth previously, so can we fans expect them on this album? Or it's going to be something different which Orphaned tries every time?
No, that was the previous album. This is now with the.
Yeah.
We recorded an orchestra in Turkey.
Uh-huh.
And we also recorded a choir of 25 singers in Israel.
Wow, that's great. Well,
Yes.
I also came across one of your recent interviews where you had mentioned that you guys have used more than 40 plus members for orchestration. Now that's huge. Could you please tell us about how this entire process went?
Yes, that's true. Only the choir, it's 25 singers.
Uh-huh.
It was very hard to arrange that, and we also worked with the violin players that we recorded in Turkey.
That's great.
So yeah, it was very busy, and we got a decent budget this time, Century Media, so we could afford.
Wow, that's awesome. I've always noticed that you never write songs based on your personal lives. It's always about the ongoing Middle East situation. Even on your previous albums as well, we have witnessed that the formula of an amazing concept on Middle East followed by a very unique sound that brings an ethnic touch to progressive metal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Coming from the Middle East, we always dealt with the Middle East subjects, and in a way it turned out that today we have a lot of followers in the Middle East, so it's even like it turned out to be a responsibility for us to have for our fans, despite the fact that we are Jews from Israel. We have fans from the Middle East, from Arab countries, and we have a lot of followers. So it doesn't make sense for me to write about my personal life because Orphaned is something else today. It turned out to be an important band for the whole Middle East.
Absolutely, you're right, you're right. Well, I'd like to tell you my perspective of this entire situation around Middle East. I've heard politicians, I've heard bands, I've heard media talking about this. But as a metalhead, I feel very proud because there is a band that has crossed all expectations and have brought enemies together, and that's Orphaned. It's amazing that an Israeli band has such a huge stream of followers coming from rival countries. I really appreciate it, Kobi.
Yes, that's what we're telling all the time, that when we have criticism towards religion or towards politicians, we always say, how can it be that the one that succeeds to do peace in the Middle East above and more than anyone else, it's a metal band. It's not a religious leaders, it's not politicians. How can it be? And that's something really amazing, I think, on one hand, and on the other hand, it's really ridiculously showing us how much politicians and religious leaders, how much they don't want peace, because it cannot be that we succeed more than them.
Absolutely right. Let's talk about your new album, All Is One. There are two songs on this album, Brother and Children, which basically throws light on different religious perspectives and how children are affected in Middle East respectively. You've always been spreading peaceful message to the world through your music. I personally consider you both musician as well as a storyteller because you always deliver a message to people, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you very much. It's definitely being an orphaned, being a musician in the Middle East, on a place where conflicts and wars are prevailing more than anything else. It's a huge responsibility, and I'm privileged to be a musician in this place because today musicians are giving people all the things that religion should give to people, and it's hope, bringing people together.
Yes.
All these things that I would expect religion priests, to do. It's musicians. They are the ones who are doing them today. I'm very lucky to be in the Middle East, even though it's a bloody place and it's suffering from a lot of conflicts, and children are dying because of wars, and our songs are very tragic because of it. The song "Children" that you just mentioned, I wrote a very, very tragic lyrics from the eyes of a child who is struck with bombs and and things like that. And the song Brother, it's basically a song that Isaac is singing to Ismail, because in the Bible, you know that Abraham had two sons, and it was Isaac and Ismail.
Yeah.
And Isaac is considered to be the father of all Jewish people, while the Ismail is considered to be the father of all Arab people.
Yes, absolutely right.
And Jews and Arabs, they forgot that they are historically brothers. We believe we have the same names. They say Ibrahim, we say Abraham. They say Yusuf, we say Yosef. They say Musa, we say Moshe. This is the same things, you know? Mm-hmm. It's the same stories, it's the same name. So this is a song that we sing as Isaac to Ismail, a love song, a song from brother to brother, and a song that one brother is asking for forgiveness, even though that if maybe he is not the guilty one and it doesn't matter who is guilty, but I wanted to be the grown-up brother who come and say, I'm sorry, the first. And that was the purpose of this song.
Now, talking about religion, there's something quite interesting I noticed on your album cover. The cover of the album illustrates the symbols of three Abrahamic religions combined into one. You also recorded the album in 3 different countries, Turkey, Israel and Sweden. Coincidentally, these countries are Jewish, Muslim and Christian respectively. Now, what was the idea behind this?
It was indeed a very nice coincidence. I didn't mean it to happen, but then I look at the flags of Israel, Turkey and Sweden, and it's a flags with the cross, the moon of Islam and the Star of David, and that was really, really funny to see that. And I didn't have any intention to do that, but ironically it happened, and I'm happy that it happened, because what can be more symbolic than for us to record the album on a Jewish, Muslim and a Christian state dealing with those subjects? And that's great. It's really a great thing, and I was happy to record in those countries, and it's a very funny story that it turned out to be like that.
Well, that's really great. The album is uniting all the religions together. Awesome. Well, this is also the first album to feature guitarist Chen Balbus following the departure of Maddie last year. How did his presence impact the writing and recording of the album?
Well, Matti was a great friend of us, and we were very sorry that he had to departure the band, because he was a great friend, and but he was kind of getting tired from doing music and from being on the roads, and he got married and started a career with computers. So we had to respect his decision. We are still very good friends. He sent me a message 20 minutes ago congratulating us for the first song we released from the album. You know, we released a lyrical clip yesterday.
That's great.
And so he was congratulating me and telling me he's very proud and it sounds great, and we are still good friends, no bad blood between us.
Cool.
It was strange to work without him, but Chen Balbus, that took his place, he was the replacement guitar that was working when one of the guitarists was ill or couldn't make it to shows. So it was natural for him to get into the part, because he was already a part of the band, and he is really crazy fan of the band, and he knows the spirit of the band. And he was a great essential part on the new album composition. He was a great help, and he brought a new motivation to the band. So it was really great to have him in the band.
That's great. Well, Orphaned's music is so layered, rich and so full of elements. I believe it must be very hard for you to look for a producer who can dig into each and every element. You had support of British genius Steven Wilson on your last album, and now you chose Jens Bogren. How different are their approach when it comes to production?
I think that when it comes to production, first of all, I must be clear that Orphaned is producing their own albums, because we are the only ones who know how to really produce our music. Steven Wilson and Jens Bogren, they've been co-producers. Steven also played keyboards on the previous album. And
yes.
You know, man, working with Steven Wilson, this is like working with God.
Absolutely right.
I admire this guy so much, and the music, and the fact that he is the fan of Orphaned, the fact that he wanted to work with Orphaned. This is the biggest compliment I could ever thought of. Not to mention when he was performing us on stage, and it's on our DVD where he says that Orphaned is one of the best metal bands in the world. That's really great. You can check it on our DVD or check it on YouTube when Steven is performing one of our songs in one of the shows. Working with him is really great. Working with Jens was amazing as well, because he's one of the best metal technicians out there today, and
absolutely
having
right.
the ability to fly to Sweden to record with him was really great. You know, he worked with the best metal bands out there, and he was really thrilled with working with us as well. He said that this is maybe one of the best 5 metal albums he ever mixed in his whole life. So that was also a great thing to see.
That's awesome, man. Now, this gives me another reason to pre-order the album right now. Thrill, I'm so excited about this album, man.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Kobi. Any new lyrical video coming up soon?
Yes, we are going to release also a lyrical clip next week and another song soon.
That's great. Well, Kobi, we at Metalholic and Metal Money would like to thank you for sparing some time, and we wish you all the very best for your upcoming release, man.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much, and thank you for your support.